Coming up on a Blue Zone pregame suitable for the world. The Royals series roster is out, and there's one familiar name who's never played. Plus, we break down the Mets' big three on the mound, and can the cool weather cool off Daniel Murphy? All that, and Dave Stewart is inside the stadium.
That's right, no outside BP for the Royals with a steady rain and the tarp on the field. Coming up, we'll update the Royals' one roster change.
It's Blue Zone. It's the World Series. It's now.
For the second time in barely a year's time, Kansas City and Kauffman Stadium is hosting a Game 1 of the World Series. You know, whenever they remove that tarp. Last year was the Giants from the West Coast. This year, it's the Mets from the East who wear the color orange because of those Giants. How about that right there? Greetings and welcome to the show with Les Norman. I am Mick Schaefer. Yeah, the Giants and the Dodgers, they left New York in 1957, went out west. So in 1962, when the Mets came into being, they adopted that Giants orange and that Dodger blue. How about that trivia for you?
They adopted it or they just stole it?
They stole it, but I think the city wanted it. Just kind of remember them by. It's kind of the child of the Dodgers and the Giants.
Yeah, well, maybe
the
Mets are causing them to forget about that now being in this World Series.
Yes, they are causing them to forget about it because they are the National League champs. All right, we have a show to do, and we do it right now. We start off with the matchup page, just in case you don't know who's playing tonight or what's going on. First World Series with two expansion teams. Both those teams came alive in the 1960s. Matt Harvey and Edinson Volquez, they came alive in the 1980s. They're the Game 1 starters. Les, was it the right call for the Royals to start Edinson in Game 1?
Yes, it was, because either way, Ventura just pitched, and it's a situation now where you have to get Cueto to pitch Game 2 and Game 6 if needed. You don't want him starting on the road. I don't care what stadium, what city, what country, for that matter. Cueto needs to start pitching at home, and that's the way it needed to work out.
It's a Cueto problem. They got him to be a problem for other teams so far, though, in the postseason. It's been more issues for the Royals. Right?
Hiding him.
Yes, they are. But you know what? He pitched great in that Game 5 against Houston. All right, the Royals' 25-man roster is out, and there is one notable change here. Terrence Gore is out, and rookie Raul Mondesi is in. I mean, he's not even a rookie. Okay? He hasn't even played past Double-A. He hasn't even seen the bright lights in the big city of Omaha yet. Okay.
Yeah, and he can't order a beer in either city either because he's not 21.
He can't drink the champagne.
Can't celebrate. You can spray it, but don't open your mouth during the celebration. Yes, but he's the son of a big leaguer, so a lot of times, even though you haven't been there, that will help you a little bit when the lights get turned on and the heat gets turned up.
He's a switch-hitting shortstop and rated one of the fastest guys in the Royals organization. Supposedly faster than Gerard Dyson. We'll see about that. Raul talked today.
You know, when I was in Arizona, they told me I was coming here just to work out with the team. And I feel good, you know, being with this guy. And then those news that they gave me today feels really good to me.
Definitely a big jump, you know, like I say, from going from Double-A minor leagues to the World Series, you know, but couldn't be happier for him. So when I was that age, I think I was in rookie ball somewhere, I think.
Now, he is not Raul Mondesi Jr., okay? Raul Mondesi Jr. is his older brother. He is Raul A. Mondesi, so he's Raul Mondesi sophomore. Huh?
Well, I'm Leslie Norman the fifth.
Are you really?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Okay.
But pass
that name down.
No way. It stops here.
But he would be the first player in Major League Baseball history to make his Major League Baseball debut in the World Series.
And I honestly think because they're going to New York and there's the double switches in the National, he's going to play. He's going to get in there. And I've seen him play at Northwest Arkansas covering the games for TV. And I'll tell you what, this kid's legit. He is young, and people worry about that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes these young kids come up and they haven't had enough time to even think about the surreal part of it, and he can flat play.
Everybody wants to be the next George Brett. Let's go inside to Kauffman Stadium now with the real live George Brett.
Raul Mondesi played 13 years in the big leagues, never went to the World Series. His son jumps from Double-A to the World Series. Is that crazy?
It's pretty crazy, but he's a pretty good player. He's special. He's going to be special for a long time. And I was talking to Dayton today, and it was a good move. The reasons they brought him up seemed pretty good. So
what were the reasons?
I can't tell you. You have to ask Dayton. But it was he's an exciting player. He really is exciting.
Ned said they slept on it for a couple of days, and it still seemed like the right thing to do. And when he asked Raul about coming up, I'm ready. He looked him in the eye and said, I'm ready. There was a confidence with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a very confident kid. He played a lot for us in spring training, and hit some big home runs in spring training. Is there such a thing as a big home run in spring training? But he hit some long ones, and he could play shortstop with anybody, with a lot of guys in the major leagues. He's got great composure. He's got a great makeup. Been around the game his whole life. So, does he? Is it a bad move bringing up a guy with no major league experience? I think in some instances it is, but not with him, because I think he's got a really strong conviction of how good he is. And I think if you put him in a game, you're going to see some speed on the bases. And if he goes out and plays shortstop or second base for some reason, you're going to see some plays being made.
Futures game, they timed him home to first 22 miles an hour. How fast is that?
Well, it's faster than Kane was running, scored from first. He was only going 21. So put it this way, I couldn't even touch 20, so that's moving.
All right, to the Mets now. Matt Harvey did make the roster for the Mets. He's the starter in Game 1 tonight. 13-8, 2.71 ERA this year for New York. I'd say he bounced back okay from Tommy John.
Yeah, and I think this whole agent, watch your innings, whatever, is out the window. It's the World Series, the Game 1 starter. He probably doesn't run 22 miles an hour, but he does throw 95-plus miles an hour and has great off-speed stuff. He's a leader of the staff, leader of a couple young guys, and this ought to be really interesting this first night.
Les, Matt Harvey, maybe the leader on this staff, but I think DeGrom is the best. He's had a terrific year.
I agree with that. When you got a young guy like that is the best, who's mixing his pitches well, who pays attention to what the older guys teach him, how they pitch. He's always been a student of these guys, watching these guys play, watching them pitch. And I think you're right. And if Harvey wins, and then you got DeGrom, that's going to be pretty tough. And so we're going to have to get to Harvey, because Jacob DeGrom is not going to be an easy thing.
And then Noah Syndergaard. Noah Syndergaard came over from the Blue Jays organization, a rookie, but a flamethrower.
Yeah, and then we talk about Harvey, we talk about Syndergaard, and then in Game 3 in New York on Friday, now you got a guy that's throwing 100 miles an hour consistently. We got that stuff coming out of our pen. So if all three of these guys have their off-speed stuff working, and then they come with the blazing fastballs, it could be a problem for the Royals. If they can't get their off-speed stuff over, then the Royals can, I loosely say this, sit on their fastball. But when you're doubling the speed limit, it's kind of tough to be able to sit on anything that fast.
Well, Kansas City can sit on those pitches. They can hit the fastball. Right. But what would you recommend to these hitters? We've seen a lot of them with those antsy approaches, ambushing pitches, going after pitches early in the count. What do you recommend to these hitters, Dr. Norman, against these Mets starters?
Right. Well, first of all, you're going to have to get your foot down early. This isn't just your basic 87 to
Hosmer,
92.
okay.
Yes, don't give me the high leg kick so much. Or if you do, start when he's wiping his nose from the rain coming off and get that foot down. But again, Terry Collins is going to have this staff working off speed early. They know Escobar's going to try to jump on a first pitch fastball, and if he's late, he can still hit a triple in the corner. So the idea is to make sure that you, as a Royals hitter, make these Mets use their off speed for strikes. If they don't do that, then you're going to get more fastballs. If you do chase, they don't have to go to their fastball. And when you do, if you're down 0-2, 1-2, 100 miles an hour, you're not going to be sitting on that when you're in the hole.
All right, coming up, we talk the Mets lineup. How much does that scare Les? And how can you cool off Babe Ruth? I mean, heck, the Bambino never did what Daniel Murphy has done. Will Les be bold enough to predict a non-homer game for Murphy? Will he go out on that limb? Blue Zone continues.
The 1-1 in the air, deep right center field. That ball is gone. Daniel Murphy has homered in 6 straight postseason games. Nobody's ever done it before.
I mean, 6 straight games. I can't even do that on my kid's Xbox. It is my kid's Xbox, okay?
Okay.
It's theirs.
All right.
It's theirs.
Right, that you funded.
But this is no Wrigley, Daniel, okay? No more 360-foot bombs to the gap, okay, at Kauffman Stadium. That's a loud out, short of the warning track. You're not hitting that scoreboard we just saw there. It's a different story here in Kansas City. We're back here in Kansas City, just outside Kauffman Stadium, counting down the moments. What do we got, about half an hour here? Less than half an hour until Game 1 of the 2015 World Series. But Les, Daniel Murphy, he has been on a tear. 7 home runs total this postseason. Only 14 total in the regular season. Does he keep it up?
Well, I don't think he keeps it up, because I think Dave Island has this pitching staff thinking about making Daniel Murphy uncomfortable. Of these 7 home runs, nobody knocked him down. He's gotten closer to the plate to cover the outside part of the plate. So he's turning on the inside stuff. He's looking for it. You can tell he's locked in, but they're not getting him to chance for his feet and change his eye level. So you might have to get one under his chin, maybe get, depending on the situation, maybe a rib or a butt cheek shot or something, you know.
There's the former big leaguer.
Yeah, you know that I'm talking about.
Out.
That's right. So, yeah, the parade ends tonight.
All right, Daniel Murphy's postseason numbers so far. Keep in mind, this is only in 9 games. And it's amazing that he only has 11 RBIs with those 7 home runs. 2 doubles, 7 singles as well. He's got a 1450 on base plus slug. How about that? Put that down. They don't have that in 10U single A baseball, for crying out loud. All right, let's move on from Murphy, the number 1 topic of discussion so far, to the number 2, which is the weather. Maybe that has been number 1 so far. What's it going to be like tonight? You were a doctor earlier, being a meteorologist now.
So now I'll be a meteorologist. It's going to be cool. I think the rain's going to slowly push out. That mist is still going to be around, but there is going to be baseball. People are going to forget about that weather. When the ball gets into the outfield, it's going to be slick. They're going to have to get the extra baseballs out. Maybe work to an advantage on the pitchers, but there will be baseball.
Can't work in a dew point there, something like that? Can I get a dew point?
Some barometric pressure.
Yeah, there we go. Warm fronts.
Here's what I know is that when I'm talking to you right now, that I can see my breath out in front of me in these wonderful lights.
There will be one man in charge of making sure the field dodges those raindrops, and Dave Stewart is with him now.
With the head groundskeeper, Trevor Vance, just got out of a meeting. What's the status?
Everybody's just concerned what the intensity of the rain is going to be the rest of the night. And everybody's forecasting we're going to be light drizzle. I think that last little shower that passed through scared some people, but we don't see any more of that on radar. So we're going to meet again at 6, and we'll make a definite decision, but I assume the tarp's coming off right after that.
With a possibility you could start on time?
Oh, they're planning on it, yeah. They definitely want to start on time.
You nailed it the last time that rain was going to come, the last game of the ALCS. When you hit it like that and everybody knows that it's coming, does it help you get that tarp down so the field isn't wet before you're able to protect it?
Well, I got to give all the credit to whether or not. I mean, they nailed it. I'm just the messenger. But, if we can cover on the front side, that speeds us up on the back side so we don't have to fix what just got wet or unplayable. So that was huge. But like I said, I'm just a messenger, but it was great to get it down and then get it off and get it resumed.
What's the biggest challenge? You got the mound, you got the batter's box, you got a lot of dirt around the bases.
Oh, it's definitely the pitcher's mound and the batter's box because that's a different type of clay. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of water. It likes to stay, hard and firm. The base, from first to third, it can take a lot of rain and you wouldn't even know it.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Appreciate it, Trevor.
Right.
Mick, back to you.
15% chance of rain at 7 o'clock. It's kind of a drizzle now, I think so, as we approach that 7 o'clock hour. So they're going to play it. They're going to start it on time. The commissioner has said, Rob Manfred has said, okay, we're going to play this thing on time. And he said before, okay, if it's going to be a situation where we're going to have to maybe, call this thing 30 minutes in, we won't start it on time. So they're at least optimistic that they're going to get a bulk of this game at the very least in. All right, so we go back inside Kauffman after this on the Blue Zone pregame show. If it weren't for Daniel Murphy, Alcides Escobar might be the man of the World Series hour right now. We'll hear from the Royals shortstop after this on Time Warner Cable. Another look inside Kauffman Stadium where they are standing in the Hall of Fame. Seriously, that wasn't even like auto-tune. That was just me right then.
That sounded so close to the actual artist.
This is awful, yeah. Les, how is a leadoff hitter that has a 293 regular season on-base percentage now like the star hitter of the playoffs?
Flip the switch. The beautiful thing, and I've heard people say this, and it is real, that when the playoffs start, there are no batting averages on the negative. It all starts fresh, and you could hit 0-1-0 if you had enough at bats, but be the hero in Game 7 or win something. He just happened to be doing it every game by jumping on fastballs and keeping confident. It's hard to do even if you're in the zone, and he's done that. There's no worries about what happened during the regular season. Like I said, no batting averages. You don't look at the scoreboard. You don't worry about anything. You're just playing at bat to a bat, and he has kept himself in the zone.
Tail of the tape here, 2 leadoff hitters. Curtis Granderson for the Mets, more the prototypical leadoff guy, but this postseason Escobar has him in every single category. Except for, working counts and seeing pitches. That's just not Escobar's thing. He's seeing 3.1 pitches per plate appearance. That is low. Here's Dave Stewart with the Royals version of Daniel Murphy.
Mick Dedios admits that Alcides Escobar is not the prototypical or the perfect leadoff batter. He's not going to take a lot of pitches, get deep in a count, but the Royals just seem to win when he bats at the top of the order. Of course, Escobar, part of that trade for Zach Greinke with Milwaukee, like Lorenzo Cain, both American League Championship Series MVPs. You were able to get a little bit of a break this weekend, or did you want to stay in a baseball frame of mind?
Yeah, that's really good. Like, take those 3 days because that's a focus from start tomorrow night from the first game of the World Series.
So how do you follow up American League Championship Series MVP? What are you doing? What's your next trick in the World Series?
You know, the next week on the World Series for me is help my team to win the World Series. That's what I want.
So what's going to be different about this year as opposed to last to be able to finish the job?
Last year we got a really good team, and this year for me I think we got best team in the last year because this year they American League champion, and in the regular season we like the Central Division champion too, and we got a lot of talent in this room. We play like hard, we play together always, and that's a young thing. Everybody he can see from the outside part how Kansas City is doing really good.
All right, Les, how do you see these upcoming pitching matchups, rather, shaping up? A lot of ups there. Is the DeGrom-Cueto matchup a mismatch?
Well, yes, it is. It is. I mean, the advantage is that Cueto is pitching at home, and we know he's been okay, and he's always has the opportunity to be the great Cueto. But again, he is facing a superstar in Jacob deGrom. He's a bulldog who doesn't give up a lot, and so Cueto's going to have to pitch his very best game, I believe, to beat Jake deGrom.
Johnny Cueto will not have to pitch away from Kauffman Stadium this series. Is that a good thing?
And then some, like we talked about in the first part, where that's the only way to hide him, and he's just been miserable on the road, and so that's the only way it has to be.
On the flip side, Ventura, Young, Volquez, all on the road. It seems like that group of three, much better than the group of three, be the first 3 games at home when it would be Volquez, Cueto. The road core of starting pitchers appears to be better.
Yeah, well, you got Young, who's unflappable no matter what. You've got Volquez, who's proven that, and you have Ventura, who has finally, after the Omaha thing, has progressively got more mature and isn't flappable, and finally is listening to everybody around him and not wanting to fight or hit people or whatever. And so those are the guys you want on the road because obviously that home field is gone.
All right, we are counting down the seconds until game time. Game 1 of the World Series here in Kansas City about to get started. We've got our unsung heroes up next. Who will save the day for the Royals and help them take the crown, hashtag, for the first time in 30 years?
When you're down 4.
It's because he's covered. He decides to go. It's Lorenzo Cain who hits it fair past third and down the line. Pujols will come to the plate. Brent's fielder will dig for third and hold there, and it's 3-1. AL on top as Lorenzo Cain delivers.
And you know, if it weren't for that All-Star game and that result, we wouldn't be here right now. We would be hosting the pregame show from like Wall Street or something like that.
Yeah, it's all right.
One more peek inside Kauffman Stadium there. We bring it back outside Kauffman Stadium. Les Norman, one more time. Even with Murphy's outburst this postseason, the Royals have more home runs than the Mets this postseason. Granted, they played a couple more games, but they have more home runs. It's 15-14.
Yeah, just goes to show you that they're using a lot more of the lineup where the Mets are using that one crunch, and of course Murphy's 7 postseason home runs, and so they're kind of mixing it up a little bit. They do need to cool that guy off, though. Home runs are home runs, whether it's one guy or 8 guys, but still, the Royals are kind of been mixing it up and sharing the wealth.
Yeah, Perez Morales with 4 apiece, Escobar with 0. Does he get a home run?
No,
he's got pop.
No, he does have pop, but he doesn't need to. Stick with the plan, hit your singles, doubles, the occasional triples, and play defense.
Keep ambushing.
Don't, no home runs.
Once again, the middle of the lineup for these Mets has provided the power, not just with the 7 from Murphy, but hey, 3 from the catcher, d'Arnaud, man. Another one of those guys that came over from the Blue Jays organization. He's shown some pop this postseason.
Yeah, a little mistake hitter. You wouldn't have thought that, and that's one of those guys that at any time, any part of the lineup, you make a mistake, you can put it over the wall, and so that's one of your little sneaky attack guys.
All right, time for our unsung heroes of the series. Les, forecast once again for us who's going to be that Royal that puts him over the top. Not a Hosmer or a Kane, but a guy you don't plan for.
I think, again, it's going to be on the road. The unflappable 6'10" Chris Young is going to be one of the unsung heroes because a guy like that can mess with a lineup where guys are thinking it looks 95 and they're swinging and the ball's not there yet, and that's his fastball. So that's pretty confusing and difficult, and that could mess up the rest of the series if it goes that far.
What win does he get them in Game 4 for the Royals?
Ooh, yeah, I would say he gets them probably could be 3.
3? Okay. I like Gerard Dyson. He's a lefty against these all righties, primarily righty power pitchers. I think he gets a start in this series, plays some right field, gets on base. The Royals go back to what they do.
Couple infield hits,
gets on the bases, runs against these righties. They don't all hold them well for the Mets.
Good call.
So yeah, I'm right. Dave Stewart, who's your unsung hero?
And my unsung hero is somebody off the field inside the stadium, DeJuan Barnes, who runs Purple Label Barbershop. It's right outside of the visiting team's clubhouse. Now, DeJuan cuts all of the players' hairs home and away. So what if Jacob deGrom, who pitches Game 2 for the Mets, came in, asked for a trim, but instead DeJuan cut about 6 inches off the side of a shaggy dog head. Now, deGrom throws 96, 97, 98, more than 200 strikeouts this year. Might have been the best starter for New York this year. Maybe he's like Samson, and if you cut his hair, he won't be as effective. Oh, by the way, Johnny Cueto says his hair is better than deGrom's. Another possibility for unsung heroes, Juliana Zobris, who is about 10 months pregnant, or she's due November 10th. Her husband, Ben, was a little bit concerned when in Game 6 of the ALCS, she went into contractions during the game. He knows where she sits over the course of the game, knows that family and friends are nearby in case she needs some kind of medical attention, but it's the 3rd child. Nobody cares about the 3rd kid, let's be honest. Big back to you.
I do have a 3rd kid. You don't.
I don't.
And
no.
we don't care about her. I mean, she's just runs loose. She's 4.
Well, I mean,
whatever.
you let her sleep in the house most of the time.
Yeah.
What about a night like tonight?
Probably let her in the doghouse.
Perfect.
Dave really took to that unsung hero deal. Those are real unsung heroes.
Yeah.
I believe he kind of trumped us there.
Yeah, you know he did. What about the guy that
the barber and a wife of one of the players?
Yeah, I don't know who else to pick now. I'm kind of flapped out on that one.
So the barber.
What about our cameramen and our crew?
No. I know them too well.
Guys, I love you regardless. You're awesome.
Unsung LVPs, least valuable players right there. Except for Joe. Joe had some sunflower seeds earlier.
There you go.
Okay. Hey, that's our show. That'll do it for the pregame show. We start immediately following Game 1 here with the postgame show. It's going to be Brad Porter in my seat, and then Al Fitzmaurice and Willie Wilson in your seat. I don't know if they're going to share that seat. Maybe.
We're going to make a V.
They will be here. It'll be much colder. Maybe rainier. We'll see. Les, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Go Royals. Let's
Go Royals. Game 1 starting. Turnover now.